Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your life path for 2021 readings. So, before we go into it, a few words about the year, or should I say, about the energy of the year 2021. So, many of you will remember that when we got into 2020, I did a video for the year ahead, and I remember saying specifically to everybody, it was going to be challenging, it was going to be tough. There were probably going to be things that we weren't ready for, that we hadn't foreseen, so to speak, and here we are on the other end of it. So I want to put this little blurb at the beginning of each one of these videos, just to give you kind of an idea of the year 5, right? So when you consider that each number vibration is kind of like a response or a differentiation or a divergence away from the predecessor's energy. The 4 year was about restriction, limitation, challenge. It was about repetition. It was about sticking with things. It was about working through things. It was about, the 4 energy, the 2020 is a 4 year, is about, the foundations. It's about the things that are rigid. A box can either be used as a step to take you to the next level, or it can be used as a prison, right? It can, it has both functions. So on the other side of that, we've got 2021, which is a 5 year. The number 5 is about freedom, liberation, energy, being dynamic. It's about passion. It's about vibrancy. It's about the sensual and the sexual. The 5 year is often, in terms of the personal year 5, it's often been called the sex, drugs and rock and roll year. Now, obviously, I'm not, condoning the drugs part. I'm just, if that's your thing, if that's what floats your boat, then please feel free. What I'm saying to you is this energy is vastly different to the year before. Now, what does that mean? It means that you may very well want and need more travel, more adventure, more sex, more sensual pleasures in your life. You may want to try new things. You may be stepping out of the box, and we're going to see this across the board. Now, remember, 2021, it's the year for everybody, right? So regardless of what your life path number is, regardless of what your personal year number is, the energy of the year itself is the number 5. So what are the things that we're likely to encounter there? What's the big word, the one word that sums up the 5 energy is change. It is the energy of change, the energy of difference, the energy of liberation and freedom, as I mentioned. Now, things that we might need to be aware of. Currently, 2020 took away a lot of our freedoms. 2020 took us to places where we were locked down. It took us into this idea that we're not in control, that we're not in charge. That 4 was no longer a step. It became a prison at certain points. Granted, most of us were locked in our homes rather than like actual prisons, but you see the point that I'm making with that kind of energy. The 5 energy wants change, freedom, liberation. It breaks out of that box and says, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what I want. I want to enjoy. I want to indulge in the world, right? I want difference. I don't want the same. I want everything and anything that is new, that is innovative. These are all wonderful energies, but what does that look like on the wider world stage? Everybody in some way, shape or form is going to want freedom and liberation. And if a lot of the things that were put in place in terms of our freedoms being taken away, in terms of, being told what we can and can't do, this is where 2020 could become quite a rocky year, because what you're going to see is the kickback. These things were put in place to keep us all safe. These things were put in place to keep us all well looked after. These things were put in place to flatten curves, to make sure that we were all in a good stead, for sure. I get that, but on the other side of it, how much is that going to be repealed? How much is it going to be peeled back? So the big question that now comes up is 2021. Freedom, liberation, innovation. We could be seeing new technologies, new ways of doing things. We could see brand new, like really advanced healing methods, ways of growing food, creating food. We could see a lot of this. We could see a lot of connection. We could see a big expansion of the understanding of not only connections between people, but also this idea of what it means to be governed from the top and what it means to be self-governing. We could see a lot of that, and the kickback may very well be that, you know, it starts to become a bit of an us and them. You know, you don't control us. We can make our own decisions. We can make our own choices. And the thing is, 9 out of 10 people, if they're left to self-govern, they tend to choose the right thing to do. You know, not because it's the right thing to do, but because everybody at base level is tapped into their own humanity. You know, you wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to hurt another person, you know, unless obviously there's things going on within you. Anyway, that's for another video and another debate. So what you're very likely to see over the course of 2021 is people looking to break out of the specific norms that have been imposed. You may very well see people wanting to change the rules, people wanting to find new ways of liberating themselves and also the people that they love, but also the masses. So you may very well see this kind of energy take place over then. 5 is a very restless energy. It's a very boisterous energy. It's lusty, sexual, passionate, vibrant. It's a number of the sensual world. So you could see a lot of this over the course of the 2021. You might see a lot of hedonism, whatever that means to you, come out. You might very well see people finding new this is the thing, I've said innovative like 3 times, but I can't stress that enough, because it's new, progressive, vibrant, passionate energy. You may very well see a lot of this. I think we're going to see a real advancement in ways that we can travel as well, because the 5 energy loves travel. It loves anything and anyone different. It loves anything and anyone that is foreign to what they know. People will want to try, more so than ever, people will want to try new foods, new food sources. I feel we're going to see a lot of this as well. Like, we recently had this meat-free burger thing come up. I think we're going to see a lot more developments in the 5 year over that kind of thing. I think we're going to see a lot, like a massive explosion towards health, vitality. I think we're going to see sports, all kinds of things around that. I think we're going to see big changes and big evolutions of. I actually feel like we might go in the direction as well where we're not necessarily looking at sort of like, oh, look at us, we're all focusing on the football league. I feel like it might sort of break apart, and you might see that the local leagues become a lot more important, or become a lot more, a lot more focus and attention is placed on those things that are happening locally, and you might see a lot of growth in those areas. I think there's going to be an explosion of health, fitness sort of stuff, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be because it's like, I need to get healthy, I need to look good. It's more going to be a case of, this is enjoyable, and if we can do it together, it's even more fun. So that looks like it's going to be great. But yeah, those are just some a few notes about the 2021 year itself before we go into your life path, your personal life path reading. So there is a link in the description box below. If you don't know your life path number, you will be able to find it. You'll be able to work it out, and trust me, I have dyscalculia, so if I can do it, trust me, you can. All right, just don't overthink it. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Now let's get into your life path reading for 2021. Take care, I'll see you soon. Hello, you beautiful Life Path 4 person. Welcome to your 2021 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. So let's get straight into it. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. But before we get into that, I have a little treat for you. So if you are a life path 4 or you're cross-watching for somebody, if you don't know how to what your life path number is, there's a video of how to in the description box below. With that said, your life path for the 2021 year, right? So 2021 is a 5-year, and unfortunately I have to say to you, it's an incompatible energy for you. So, right, the 5 energy is fast, dynamic, fun. It wants to do lots of things and be really spontaneous. 4 energy is steady, grounded, stable. 2020 you would have been in your element because you're kind of used to that slow, steady, sustainable growth energy. 5-year, you're not going to have that. So some of the things that you might see are disruptions to your plans. You may feel more frustrated with the pace of things. You might feel that everything, maybe feels a little bit out of control, or maybe not necessarily, being done the way that you would like it to. And it might be a year where you're more dependent on others. Life path 4 people tend to be very self-sufficient. And this year, because of the energy, you might find that you are either more beholden to other people, or maybe you have to collaborate more. Maybe you have to work with others, and that's a bit uncomfortable for you. Don't fret. There's a message and a blessing in everything that you experience. So that's what this is trying to teach you, to be a bit freer. So the 5-year is asking you to find new ways to build your dreams, to find new ways of doing things, to find new paths or new avenues to do the same old same. Anything that needs to be done, anything that needs to be done consistently, you're being asked to find new ways to do that. This is a year for you to learn how to work with new methods of doing the same thing, maybe even with new materials in what you're building. So if you are used to drawing out all of your designs, maybe this year you could learn to do it all on the computer. Maybe if you are used to using a certain program for A, B and C that you have to do in your work, maybe you're learning to use a different suite. Maybe you're learning to gather new skills that are going to enable you or enhance what you already are capable of. Finding new ways to be organized, finding new ways, and building new schedules as well. This is going to be a really important thing for you. The same old same energy is not going to get you anywhere, and if anything, it will end up hampering your progress. So finding new ways and new ways to organize yourself will be vital for you. Finding new ways to work, but also new ways to study. So if you've always done the traditional sort of learning where you go to a class to do something, maybe this year you're going to be urged to do to learn in a group setting online. Maybe you're going to be urged to, I don't know, pick up a book and teach yourself. Maybe you're going to be urged to take the job that you have no idea how to do and just learn while you're doing it, which is a really scary prospect for a life path 4, because you guys are very much like, no, I'll do what I know. So you'll put all the time, effort and foundation into building up to something and then go into doing it. Whereas the 5-year is going to push you. It's going to ask you to say, no, you know what, you've got to think on your feet. There's no time to do this kind of sit back, wait, plan, then execute. It's just not going to be there in the energy. This is going to teach you to find new ways to bend the rules, which I know a lot of you life path 4 right now are clutching pearls like, but this is it's gonna teach you where the rules can be bent, or where the rules that are currently in place no longer apply. So this is going to show you where you need to write new rules, where you need to write new schedules, or maybe put in place a different schedule, a different structure. So the challenges for this year for you are, you're gonna have to learn how to speed up. This slow, steady sort of energy that you like, that you're used to, it's not going to be there. So finding ways to speed things up and to still remain, as efficient as you like to be, that's going to be one of your challenges this year. To be more adventurous and spontaneous. Again, not words that you associate with the life path 4, but this year, because the energy is there surrounding you, you might be like, okay, I'll just dip a little toe and see if I like it. And you could start that way. Start small and work your way up, as like the rules of pretty much everything in life. Being spontaneous, yeah, these are again your challenges. Now, some of you might think, oh, well, that's not a challenge, but if it's at odds with the way that you usually do things, especially if some of these things are coming from your boss, maybe from your students, maybe from your lecturers, you know, where they're saying, well, actually, we need or want different ways of all of these things to be done. That's going to be the challenge of how do I speed this up? How do I make it more spontaneous? And how do I continue to remain authentic while doing so? This is a year for you to learn that being serious about fun is important. So this is one trick that really helped me when I had my Saturn, moving through my 6th house. Oh my gosh, and opposing the moon in my chart. So my sleep pattern was severely hampered. My relaxation, my rest, I just couldn't get any of it, like no matter what I used to do. So what I actually did as like a life or a brain hack, don't you just love it, was I built into my schedule throughout the day times where I could rest, times where I could do nothing, and times where I could enjoy myself. Now that might seem like a really obvious thing to do, but not a lot of people utilize that. So that's what I did. So when I say getting serious about fun, build it into your day. Right, for an hour each day I am gonna, I don't know, jump on my bike and go and do this, or maybe for an hour each day I'm gonna put some music on and dance my pants off, or maybe for an hour each day I'm gonna, you know, sit and meditate, or just do something that kind of builds in fun, rest and recreation into your day. If you approach it like it's something, you know, a part of your daily duties that you have to do as a job. And that's what I did, you know, because it was Saturn that was so strong in that 6th house energy for me and opposing my, you know, my moon in my 12th house. What I actually did was say to myself, right, okay, I'm going to, you know, these are the times that I have to do these things, and I have to do them because they're part of my job. My job is to remain good at what I do and to keep working and studying and performing well. So if that's the case, I need to be serious about these things as well. And that's kind of how I alleviated that energy. Another of the challenges, how to change direction quickly. Again, not necessarily an energy that you're used to, but it is one that you're being, you know, forced effectively to learn this year. And finally, one of the other challenges that you will face this year is how to take on other people's ideas. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and it's not saying that you guys are hard-headed and rigid. It's just saying that you're usually pretty good at everything, you know, because you've worked hard and studied at it to get to that point, you know, that power of repetition. But that energy isn't here this year, so you are going to have to rely on other people's ways of doing things. You're going to have to get used to changing direction quickly. So the blessings of this year: it can show you how to break out of your shell. It can reveal this sort of new, fun, dynamic, spontaneous self that still is able to get everything done, but understands how and where they can adjust or adapt, which is a really exciting thing. You know, it can help you find your true goal or mission, something that really gets you fired up, not something that you do because it's your duty or you have to, something that gets you really, you know, in your gut, like, fucking yeah, let's do it. Not energies that you'd see for a life path 4 usually, but you could find that this year. So, you know, if it's surrounding you, tap into it. Being okay with starting over. This is not necessarily something that you guys are known for. It's 4 energy is very much, there is no plan B, there's only plan A, and it will work no matter how long it takes. This year, again, the energy is not for it, so you might have to start things over, and you might have to look at what it is that made it, you know, what is it that made you have to press the reset button? How can you avoid having to do that again? Understanding the power in change. You know, 4 wants to hold things as they are. It wants things to stay constant and, you know, and steady and traditional, you know, whatever the tradition might be. Whereas 5 energy is like, no, there are new, better and more exciting ways to do this. So how do we apply those? So learning to understand the power in change could be really powerful for you, and releasing rigidity. This could be the year where you finally crack that ability. I'm not saying it's going to change you, you know, 100% and you'll be a totally different person, but the potential for, you know, changing some of the things that you might have struggled with over the years is definitely there. I mean, you guys are always up for a challenge, right? So be serious about smashing the challenges. Your key advice this year: don't be afraid to try a new path. And really don't, right? Because it will lead you to some amazing spaces. What makes you want to live? You know, what makes you want to live? And I mean really live. Like, what makes you say to yourself, you know what? Yeah, I'm living for that. I want to do that. You know, find that this year. And then finally, what is the next step or the direction that you can devote your time, energy, and consistency to? You use those things, and I think you'll be in line for a really good year. So let's have a look, see at your January card has jumped straight out. And in true Life Path 4 fashion, you've got the Chariot card, which means you are going to win this year, right? That's what you really need to know, because this card it kind of sets the tone, but it also tells me that in January, this could be where you are not only wrapping up your 2020 successfully, but here in January, it's kind of like you're saying, you know what, whatever the challenges are, I'm going to jump straight in. It does look like you are kind of here in January, right at the start of the year in 2021. It looks like you're being kind of thrown into the deep end, all right? It looks like you're kind of being pushed out to it in some way, shape or form. Let's see what this might relate to. And it's the King of Swords, so it's very likely going to be something to do with your career. Maybe this is something to do with your profession. It looks like it's going to change from the offset. Work, that work-life balance, the things that you do for work or at work are very likely to change for you. Your career does look like it's going to get some sort of... At first, it might feel like your career is being derailed, right? But remember, the energy of this year, it ultimately serves a purpose for some form of liberation. Now, you're looking out for an air sign male, very likely to be an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. This could be somebody that changes your lifescape when it comes to your career in some really exciting way. But it does look like you could be going in a completely different direction as soon as you get to 2021, like right out of the gate. Something about your career or your work is changing. This could be your daily routine, but it could also just as easily be the company itself. There's something about your work that is going through a really big shift this year. For February, you have the Magician card, but in true fashion, you meet it head on and you already start to win, right? So this is great because it means that you're picking this energy up. It does look like a lot of you may very well be striking out on your own because this card represents Gemini and it falls right next to the King of Swords. You're looking out very likely for Mercury. It looks like you're looking out for somebody that is very likely to be a Gemini or possibly even a Virgo. And this is going to be somebody that you're interacting with or connecting with when it comes to your work. Here in February, you know, this person could still be featuring for you, but it also looks like you're either creating something or presenting something out into the world. This is where you are maybe gaining a qualification, maybe you're put into use. For some of you, I feel like this might be something that you gained a long time ago, but have only just sort of found a use for, which is, you know, this is a great way for you to use this energy of the 5 and the 4, because it's like something that you've already studied and trained for but never really used. You know, this year when the career goes in a completely different direction or the work changes in some respect, it forces you to think on your feet, and then you say, oh, I've already got that skill, or I'm already learned in this sort of area of life. Wow, you know, I can use that and I can feel that to make that happen. Nice. You got the Fool card right on top of the Magician. So this is great. One thing that I will say to you is it does look like February is taking you in a completely different direction. It looks like February is going to see you learning something. It's going to see you learning or studying something that is maybe very different to what you are in or working around now. It does look like a lot of you are going back to school in some way, shape or form. You're gaining a new qualification qualification or gaining a new understanding, but very much likely for all of you in some way, shape or form, February sees you gaining a brand new skill set, one that is gonna, I thought it was something that, something that you've already done. Now, it could be, for some of you, maybe it is that you're brushing up an old skill and you're finding new ways to do that same thing, like we talked about. But for a lot of you, this looks like you embarking on some completely different path when it comes to your work, when it comes to your career. But for a lot of you, this is about some form of study, and this study or qualification may very well take you abroad. And this person, you're looking out for them, and I'll tell you that this air sign person is very likely to be somebody that you don't know yet. For March, you have the Tower card, right? So this really does. This year is going to be, like I said, it's going to be dynamic, changeable, shocking, fun, all the rest of it for everybody. But straight out of the gate, I think this year has a lot of surprises in store for you. So Life Path 4, buckle the frig up, because you better get ready and you better hang on to yourself, because things about to change up in her. All right, let's give it some context. You've got the Lovers card, right? So look at this. There's a strong Mercury / Gemini / air energy that pervades this first quarter of the year, January through March. For a lot of you, March looks like a time where somebody really special is going to turn up for you. Now, things that I can tell you about this person: somebody that's very gifted, somebody that is very likely to be a boss, a business owner, a CEO, somebody that is, in a position of authority or power. You will know this person because they're going to smack you straight between the eyes. If you are single and you're looking to meet somebody in 2021, March is the month that is going to bring somebody to you completely out of the blue. Like you won't see this person coming. Why do I say that? You've got the Tower card right next to the Fool. Big shocking announcements or arrivals, coupled with the Lovers card, right? So not only is somebody brand new being welcomed into your life, I think you're going to be really surprised at a lot of the changes that you've already implemented come March, right? So you guys need to be prepared, because there are big changes on the horizon for you guys, which I kind of feel like is really exciting in a way, actually, depending on how you look at it. And then the reason I say to you that you don't know this person is because you've got so much surprising new energy here. So what I will say to you as well, it looks like you're making a big decision. Now, I'm getting an interruption from this pairing as well. In March 2021, I'm getting this feeling that there's going to be something to do with the population of the world or a specific country. I feel like there might be sanctions, more sanctions placed on how many children people can have, or the kinds of, something to do with the family dynamic. I don't know what it is exactly, but that's the feeling that I get. And it will very likely be countries that are ruled by Gemini. So I'm going to have to look that up. All right, for April, you have the Empress card, which is great, right? This is lovely, gorgeous energy. It's beautiful, it's vibrant, and it's abundant. April could see where you are finally starting to get your feet on the ground, right? The Empress is bringing you she's smoothing off some of the edges of what looks like a very fast and furious start to the year. She's giving you that energy of kind of saying, okay, you know what? It was a bit crazy for a while, but we can put our feet on the ground again. And that's coupled with the Four of Pentacles. The April looks like a very good month for you when it comes to money, right? April is your power month when it comes to finances. If you want to save, if you want to invest, if you want to spend, April is very likely to be the month that you go for it. Now, also, when it comes to your physical body, your physical health, if you're starting any sort of workout regime, maybe you're on the comeback trail, maybe you're deciding to go back into sport, maybe you're deciding to go back into a hobby, April is your month. This is where you are really starting to pay attention to your health, your fitness, your vitality, your physical body. There's a lot of this energy coming through here, but April looks like a good month for your money and your health. for May, you have the star card, right? So hope, optimism, joy. May is going to be a much easier month. Interestingly enough, the star card follows the tower, right? So after you've had all of that going on here in May, this is where it really does, because each of the cards is kind of like a response to the one that came before, right? So the star card offers you that peace, that tranquility, that reflection. It's much easier energy. It will see you connecting with people of a like mind, and it does suggest to me that the first quarter of the year, or around then, looks like that's when you'll very likely, March, April time, will very likely see a move for you. Now, which is really interesting. I saw that the Life Path 3 people were moving a lot in the next year. And a lot of it sort of begun around the same sort of time. So I wonder if we're going to see a sort of mass migration of some sort. That'll be really interesting, and maybe it will be, in response to the fact that the country that you're in is laying sanctions on children, or, how many kids you can have, or if you can even have children or start a family. I feel like that might come up somewhere. Not sure, but we'll see. So to couple on that, look at that double hit of the Empress energy. Gorgeous. So if you're thinking about starting or creating an online business, something that has to do with the beauty industry, if you're thinking about going into business for, hairdressing, beauty therapy, holistic massage therapy, anything like that, April and May look like brilliant months to you. When it comes to beauty, online, supplements, all of that sort of stuff, May is a really great month for you. If you ever thought about doing that, May is going to be the month where you can put it into action and you'll see some good results. There's something going on here as well with young women. Because you've got the star card, very Aquarian energy, but it couples with the Empress. This could see something, on the wider world stage. Maybe this could be a protest about, young women and the rights that they have with their own bodies, etc. We could see this come up. Definitely a possibility. June, we have the Justice card, right? So this looks like a big month for commitments. What is it that you stand for? What is it that you are committed to? What is it that you believe excellence really is? How does that show up for you in your life? And ultimately, with the Justice card, what is it that you're prepared to sign on the dotted line for? This could see you really delving into that. And because it comes with the King of Wands, right? So what do we notice here? Right, the King of Wands is about authority. There could be something taking place on the wider world stage that creates some sort of big change. On a personal level, this is about you going down the route of some sort of traditional commitment. Now, this could be you committing to some sort of physical stuff. We talked about health and vitality and stuff. That could definitely be where you're seeing some of the results for it. For some of you, June could be a month where you are either speaking publicly or you are maybe connecting with an authority of some sort. Now, this is likely to be what I would call an institution. It does look like you're signing something, though, that is going to put you out there into the world. So June looks like it might be a power month for a business contract, where you're signing for something. Now, your King of Wands would be a fire sign female, fire sign male, so an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. Somebody that's feisty, vibrant, fun, but also somebody that is comfortable with being seen. And when it comes to you personally, this is about what you choose to commit to and how you show up for that. This could be the month where you get to act more like yourself, more like a Life Path 4 than you do out of the whole year, because it's the strongest energy for you so far. What I will say to you about this, though, as well, is you've got two kings here, so it looks like June, or possibly, I'll say June. June feels much June, but let's say April, May, or June. that whole period, this could be where you are seeking experts, maybe grabbing expert advice. Here in June especially, this could be where you're consulting with a consultant. Maybe this is a lawyer, maybe it's a doctor of some sort. This is coming up for you in a big way, and it looks like whatever you're signing, it has something to do with either your work or something that you're launching out into the world. For July, you have the Temperance card. All right, so nice. This is really about you kind of seeing the alignment. Now, your fire sign male here in June, very likely to be a Sagittarius. The Temperance card rules Sagittarius. So this is about you really kind of now not only finding your people, but it looks like you're connecting with somebody or something that actually... Yeah, look, so you got the Three of Swords, right? So when I say you're connecting with someone or something that takes you on a new path, it does look like July is going to see you releasing someone or something, right? And it kind of stands to reason, whoever it is that you're committing to, you are going to have to leave something behind for it. I think July is going to be a big month for revealing what is taking place, and it does look like as well there's some sort of a trip that's cancelled. So come July, whatever it is that you were planning to do or you've put in place up until then, if you're traveling for July, just be aware that it may not happen. It may be delayed. It looks like it's either delayed or it's just not happening at all. And one of the reasons may be, in response to some of the stuff that's happening almost globally. It's going to be a really interesting year for you guys. I mean, for everybody anyway, but I'm really intrigued by everything that's coming through. So for August, you have the Judgment card, right? So this could be a month where not only are you gaining a blast from the past, but it comes with the High Priestess. This August looks like a month where you're discovering some sort of secret. This could be a big secret. Maybe it's a world secret that comes out. August looks like it could be a big month for that. On a personal note for you, if you're a Life Path 4 or you're cross-watching, this could be a time where you are either gaining some sort of insight into somebody's behavior. Maybe you are gaining some sort of insight into some of your own motives and motivations. This could be a brilliant month for those of you that are spiritual, that are hoping to study spiritual practices, especially things like mediumship. This could be a really power month for you. If you're deciding that you're going to go down this route of working with spirit or ancestors, August is a power month for it. What I will say to you though is whatever is revealed in August is going to shake your world to the core. This is something that like I said, it could be on the global scale for sure, but on a personal level, I don't think it's necessarily bad, but for some of you as well, because you've got this Three of Swords here, this could be about the end of a relationship or the change in status where you go from married to being divorced or separated. September, you have the Fool card again, so double hit of that Fool card energy. September looks like it's all horizons go, right? It's all new horizons, all new change. And it may be that September not forces you, but September provides you with an opportunity to travel, or maybe you're deciding to. Yeah, and look, right, so you've got the Five of Cups. Now, this is about a loss. It's about an ending and a completion. It does look like, I'm sorry to say, it may be that in September of 2021 you're hearing of a death, or somebody is transitioning out of their earth walk, so to speak. On a personal level, this will be something that comes to an end very shockingly or very abruptly. I'm sorry I can't give you any more than that, but it comes with the Fool card. So the chances are you probably won't see this coming, but when it comes you'll be like, you know what? When I look back over the events that led up to it, I understand now why this has happened. October, you have the Death card. Coupled with the Five of Cups, yes. Somebody is transitioning out of their earth walk between September and October. That is a double up message. Now, you are breaking free of something here, though, in October. And it may very well happen. Yeah, look at this. So September, October time, looks like it's a big move for you, and I mean like a change of residence. I thought April and May would bring you a change of residence, but I actually feel like that's more to do with your money, materials and a business, whereas here in September or October, this looks like the time of year when you're actually moving. Something is changing, something is coming to an end. I'm speaking directly now to those of you that are married, partnered for a long time, those of you that are in long-term or committed relationships that you know deep down are probably on shaky ground. It looks like you may very well be seeing the end of them over the course of the latter end of this year. For November, we have the World card. Now, this is interesting because this World card has come up twice in this position, which means we are seeing something take place on the wider world stage. Let's have a look, see, and it's to do with the Three of Wands. I feel like November 2021 is very likely to see something happen with the travel industry, and I also feel like this is going to be the start of probably the end of what we call borders. I actually feel like this is going to create some sort of, mass drive towards more connection, more collaboration, more sort of being tied into each other and together. On a personal note, this is a change in your status. So whatever it is that's coming to an end, it actually sets you up for an amazing brand new beginning, which is nice. I mean, November actually, your challenging period, that first quarter of the year looks quite challenging. July, August and September look like they're going to be quite challenging. Even October is a little bit shaky, but November will be where you just like April and May kind of give you that, it's like when you go for laser surgery, they burn you for so long and then they cool it, to give the skin a break. And I actually feel like this is what's going to be happening for you. There's going to be periods of sort of big change, and then it eases off, and then all of a sudden you're back in, and then it eases off. December, you have the Hierophant card. This whole year, the whole year of 2021 is actually serving to change a lot of the big structures in your life. This is going to see you really completely remodeling your life. It's going to see you changing where you live. It's going to see you changing not only where you live, but also the way that you work is going to come into sharp contrast this year. And also, I actually feel like when it comes to, the authorities or the governments that you are attached to or associated with, these might be going through a big change as well, and it looks like you're pulling away from them in some way, shape or form. Now, your Hermit card is also a quest or a vigil, and it falls on top of the Hierophant card, which is some sort of personal initiation. Next year, in some way, shape or form, you are going to be initiated by life itself. So December is the month that you want to watch out for that. Whatever you start working on here in August on a spiritual level, you're seeing the grand culmination of it here in December. So it's an interesting one. And then finally, your key to the year. What is it that you need to know going forward? What is it that you are learning or discovering over this year? The Tree of Life. Divine intervention and assistance, right? So whatever takes place for you over the course of this year, no matter how much of a blessing, no matter how much of a lesson, no matter how challenging, it is happening for a specific reason. You might not be able to always see this, and some of it you might think to yourself, you know what, Raf, fuck off, I'm not interested. Like, you didn't say that this was going to happen. Obviously I don't have the time, and I can't, I'm not all knowing or all seeing. I'll give you as much as I possibly can. But this card for me has always represented divine assistance and intervention. Whatever is taking place for you this year, whoever goes, let them go. Whoever is welcomed into your life, let them come. Be open to everything. This is a year for you to learn how to let go and allow things to drive themselves rather than constantly or always wanting or needing to be in control. This is a year that's going to show you that you aren't, and that's actually okay. All right, so therein lie your 2021. I truly hope that this video helps you. I put my heart and soul into these, and you know, trying to get the right balance of energies and knowledge and stuff. So I truly hope that it serves you well going forward. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.